So hang on, everyone's throwing bombs at each other and they're all in the right? Surely when bombs are flying, someone's in the wrong. How can you tell when a politician's lying? When they're blasting off killer missiles in the name of peace.
Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime.
Whenever you want to sit down and relax with a nice cup of tea to watch the news over wartime, remember you're always being blasted with more than one source of propaganda, and there's always more than one truth.
This is not an endless war. This is a gateway to peace.
I'm sorry, what was that?
It's the exact opposite of what people are saying.
See what he did there? He cleverly described the hell and fury being rained down on Iran as a gateway to peace. And he did it all with a straight face. Brilliant.
The United States continues to target Iran. More than 2,000 targets have now been hit with missiles in that sort of pattern that has been repeated, and we'll see more of that.
Sure, you don't need a degree in nuclear physics to spot the atomic level hypocrisy that's in operation here. And as for the Iranian nukes, well, where's the evidence? And why am I getting a sense of déjà vu?
I take the fact that he develops weapons of mass destruction very seriously.
But let's get into even more volatile territory now. In Israeli politics, particularly in certain religious nationalist factions, there's a train of thought that sees this conflict in an entirely different way. Bezalel Smotrich, Israel's finance minister, is a leading figure in the religious Zionism movement, and he argues that the Jewish people have the entire right of all of the land of Israel. I think I'm starting to see how this works. Believe in a made-up God, and then just keep saying that you're doing God's bidding.
Arthur, King of the Britons. Oh, don't grovel. One thing I can't stand, it's people groveling. Sorry.
Now, the Minister of National Security, Itamar Ben-Gvir, comes from a political thinking that's rooted in Kahanist ideology. This ideology is a little bit controversial. It believes in Jewish supremacy. Yes, you heard that right. To be clear though, neither of these two men say explicitly that they want world war. Yeah, they're really giving peace. And what about Netanyahu? Is he part of this cult thinking? I've got no idea. But what I do know is his recent track record does smell of real Four Horsemen shit. Generally speaking, the US doesn't look at all this through a lens of theology.
I feel like they're following the scripture and what the scripture says about Israel. Those who bless Israel will be blessed. I mean, they take it literal, and I'm one of those people.
Lifting up the arms of our president. We pray for your continued blessing and favor.
Okay, forget it. Let's move on. Now, a quick word from our sponsor.
Peace Strike, precision bombing, maximum virtue. At Peace Strike, we believe the path to peace begins with precision explosives. Our platform helps governments deliver high-impact kinetic diplomacy while maintaining the appearance of restraint. Peace Strike, because nothing says de-escalation like a carefully calibrated explosion.
Now, as I'm sure you know, the propaganda machine never sleeps, and especially during wartime.
Sir, if that's a red line for you, why is attacking U.S. military bases abroad justified?
But because they are attacking us.
That's how you put an Iranian foreign minister in his place. Ask the guys that you're beating to a pulp why they're justified in fighting back. They'll be so confused they'll have no idea what to do. And remember, the biggest lies are always the boldest.
We didn't start this war.
I'm pretty sure you did.
We didn't start this war. But under President Trump, we are finishing it.
Good luck with that. Anyway, back to the issue at hand, and the imminent threat that is the reason, apparently, for this apocalyptic shit show that we're currently seeing. It wasn't easy, but I did find one real journalist asking the hard questions about this very issue at the White House. Let's see how she got on.
We had Operation Midnight Hammer back in June. We obliterated their nuclear facilities. What was the intelligence that suggested that somehow they became a threat once again that required us to get involved with Operation Epic Fury?
I appreciate the question.
Hates the question.
The evidence in front of us since the 12-day war was that Iran had no intention of actually negotiating a nuclear deal that truly meant they did not have a pathway to the nuclear bomb.
Yeah, he seemed to forget answering the question of imminent threat.
That's the thing. I have this condition.
A condition?
It's my memory.
Amnesia?
No. It's different from that. I have no short-term memory.
Look, all I know is that global peace and stability always seems to need a huge amount of boats with guns and planes with bombs. Okay, so let's not look at this just from one point of view. There's always two sides to everything. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps have routinely used arbitrary arrests, torture, and of course most recently they've killed thousands of protesters on the streets. And despite the apparent celebrations of Iranians around the world for the death of Khomeini, there seemed to be a whole nation in mourning in Iran itself. History tells us that Iran has 1,000,001 reasons to hate the US. Let's not go there, shall we? You always know when a Prime Minister starts talking about how joining a war is legal, that it's probably not legal.
Coordinated, regional, defensive operations, as Britain has done before, in line with international law.
Alright, and what about that recent UK Gov poll that showed that the majority of the British public actually opposed US planes taking off from British bases? Yeah, let's just forget that.
But the only way to stop the threat is to destroy the missiles at source, in their storage depots, or the launchers which are used to fire the missiles.
This guy's got nothing on Orwell's newspeak. So after all that, do we know who's right in all this? Of course not, how can we? All I do know is this. Whilst the war dominates the headlines, 3 million Epstein files get almost no media coverage.
There's nothing that I saw when I was around him.
Nice timing, Bill. Not many eyes on right now for some reason, eh? When they make you look this way, always remember to look this way.